Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Pedrich. Update on Maria, which is still pounding the Outer Banks with surf and surge. There's actually sun out in some locations, not a lot of rain in the wind. It's tolerable. It's all about the water, and I'm going to explain why. Let's go right to what's going on right now. Two things I'm plotting here. I'm plotting the wind field and the satellite image and the future track. So I'm going to let it loop here a couple times, and we'll go in a little bit closer, and I'm going to pause it here. And the first thing you notice is the storm is pretty lopsided. There are not a lot of clouds even or showers on the west side. They're all on the east side. But that tropical storm force sustained wind field is just edging off the Outer Banks. But if you look closely, you can see some of these wind barbs are still around 40 miles an hour. But the winds are switching from the north to the northwest. So we're starting to see a change in the wind direction. For the last 24 to 36 hours, the flow was onshore, and we're still getting some of that on the Outer Banks. But as we go through today and the track goes off towards the northeast, we're eventually going to see the wind swing around to the northwest, and that's going to have huge implications for the sound side flooding. Because if you're not from the Outer Banks and don't really understand the way this stuff works, is you've got first the ocean side flooding, the wind's blowing like this, but then as the winds switch to this direction, they push the water from the sounds, which are the Albemarle Sound and the Pamlico Sound, back to the west side or the sound side of the Outer Banks. So you get kind of a double whammy with the flooding. So we're going to start at the Duck Pier, and I'm going to show you the future water levels. You can see the red line is where we are right now, but if you look closely at high tide this afternoon, we're going to see the highest water on Duck, and then the water levels should start to go down. But notice they stay above high water levels for a while. The next 2 to 3 tide cycles are going to be pretty significant. We'll go down to the Oregon Inlet Marina, but notice here that the water is actually going to get higher into tomorrow, and this is because this is on the sound side of the Outer Banks. So as the winds switch around to the northwest, we'll actually see the biggest surge coming up late tonight and early tomorrow. So as the water goes down on the ocean side, the Duck Pier, the inlet areas of the Oregon Inlet on the sound side start to see their water increase tonight into tomorrow. Same thing as you go, let's go down towards the Hatteras Station. Notice that their water level is the highest right now because the winds have already switched, but even the next tide cycle there, we're likely going to see some high water this afternoon and even possibly into early tomorrow morning. So you see how the tide cycle kind of changes everything. And I'll go back to the map to show you what I'm talking about. The 3 gauges I was showing you was the Duck Pier, Oregon Inlet, and then the Hatteras station. And notice the Hatteras one is on the inside, or the sound side. Same story with the Oregon Inlet, but the Duck Pier is on the outside. So there's a difference in the water initially getting pushed in this direction, and you can see up here at the top, maybe 2 to 3 feet. But then as the water starts getting pushed this direction, we start to see flooding on the sound side, especially Ocracoke and Hatteras. So it's kind of the double whammy with this system that you see sometimes as the storm kind of moves just off the coast. So here's the wind field. This is our short range, high resolution, what we call rapid refresh model. We run it every couple of hours. The purple area is kind of the 30-mile-an-hour winds. Those are going to be with us into the afternoon hours. But by about 5, 6, 7 o'clock tonight, about 8 o'clock, the strongest winds finally begin to move offshore as they rotate around in this direction. So there's at least another 24-hour period of really strong winds until the storm moves offshore a little bit further. As far as rainfall, it's not a lot of rain with this. I mean, this is really, there's some scattered showers moving through the Outer Banks, but you can see this is a pretty lopsided storm. All the heavy rain is going to be on the east side of the storm system. So we'll go back to the track real quickly, and I'm going to put the actual track on here. And you can see this is where it is right now, but it's going to start pushing off in this direction by tomorrow. This is 8 a.m. Not 8 a.m. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So it starts to finally turn off towards the northeast and then goes out into the middle of the Atlantic and races off away from the U.S. Now, locally, if you want some good news, let me turn all this off for a second. I know a lot of folks are already starting to wonder, are we ever going to cool down? Well, we've got a cold front heading in from the west, and I'm actually going to turn the temperatures on real quickly. We're going to get near record hot today in the Charlotte area. 93 degrees is the record set back in 1900. There's a good chance we could tie or break that record today. But here comes the cold front. You can actually see it off to the northwest, and that colder air is not too far away. It's up in here, and this cold air is diving our way. Now, there's no rain with this front, but get ready. We're going to see some cooler temperatures, and that's also going to help sweep Maria out to sea. I'll have a complete update coming up at 4, 5, and 6 on NBC Charlotte. We've got crews live at the Outer Banks. If you're out there, all my followers on the Outer Banks, hold on 24 more hours. Please watch those dunes and watch for that storm surge. The next couple of tides are going to be pretty bad, especially on the sound side. Those will start to go up even as the ocean side flooding starts to go down. And those waves, no joke for the next couple of days.